Hey, how's everybody doing today? I got to thinking after the last video I made where I did the engine oil and the transmission oil, I kind of thought I probably should have done the primary too. Just because I changed the other two, I might as well do the primary as well. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. We'll be going through it a little bit, and we're going to stick with the Sin 3 again. And as you can see, it's engine, transmission, and chain case, which is your primary. So that's what we're going to be doing today. So let's get to it. Okay, so here is your primary drive. It is a chain drive, whereas your final drive, which comes to the back wheel here, you can see that is a belt drive. And the one thing you will notice on your primary is that it does not have a dipstick anywhere to check it. Basically, you don't really need to check this much. It doesn't really go anywhere. It doesn't really burn off unless you notice oil underneath it. You probably don't really have to check it. But to get at it, we will be going through this cover here. Not much has really changed over with the primaries, I don't think, from the last model years anyway. The one thing I did notice was they put a little space down in here, which was not there on the previous models, and looks like that'd be good for a little more airflow, maybe a little more cooling. And also, it's a lot easier to get to this linkage now than it used to be if that's loose. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to drain this oil, and we're going to do that by taking out the plug that is right there. And it's a 5/8, so we'll get that out and we'll get to her. Okay, so we got our oil draining nicely. You can see it's a little dirty, but that's to be expected after a little while. And we've got our drain plug out, and you'll see it also has the O-ring on it, like all the drain plugs do. Also, it also has a magnet on the end here, which the other plugs do as well, so that you can check to see if there's a lot of buildup on there. If you've got a lot of metal shards, things like that on there, you might want to look further into it. But this really, that's not too bad at all. That's pretty much normal wear and tear. So we'll go ahead and we'll finish getting this oil out, and we'll open up the cover. Okay, we have our cover off. It's just held on by about 5 little Torx head screws. I believe they're a T25 if I'm not mistaken. And here is the inside, well, part of the inside of your primary. You can see it's got like a O-ring seal on it, which you should replace along with the O-ring on the drain plug. But this right here is your clutch. And if you were to adjust your clutch, you would be putting a wrench on here, putting an Allen key in here, and loosen this off, turn this. But basically, don't fool around with it if you don't have to. But this is where we're going to be checking it and filling it. We're going to be filling it up to about the bottom of the clutch basket. You're probably looking at about, I think it's about a quart to fill it up. You don't need to go any more than that. When this bike is running, the oil is going to get whipped all around this thing. So you don't need a ton of oil in it. So if you can get a funnel in there, or if you got steady hands, let's get to it. Okay, I've put the required 1 quart in, if not, maybe just a smidge more. And hopefully you'll be able to see where the oil level is in there. It's just right at the bottom of that clutch basket, which is pretty much perfectly where it needs to be. So now we'll get this funnel out of here. We'll change this O-ring seal, put the cover back on, and we'll be pretty much good to go. And there we go. We got our cover back on. Everything's cleaned up. We've got no leaks, so we should be good to go. Okay, so that's that. It's pretty straightforward. You don't need to start the bike up and then recheck the level again or anything like that. You can start it up to see if it's gonna leak or anything, but other than that, that's pretty much it. Clean up the primary when you're done. That's it. The only thing I would say, I would caution you, when you are putting those little Torx head screws back in the cover, make sure you don't over tighten them because they are very fragile. If you even the slightest bit too much pressure and you're going to break them. So be very careful with those. And I also put a little dab of blue Loctite on them just to make sure that they're going to stay in there. So, you know, take it for a ride and then just have a quick look underneath. If there's no oil, I'd say you're good. So other than that, that's the video for today. Nothing too exciting, kids, but until then, next time, we'll see you later.